So hi, I thought I would tell you a little backstory behind the second book in the series, the Weirs, a Winnipesaukee Adventure. So starting with, you'll notice that John Gorey was added to the illustration credits along with Carol Hayes, and John is Carol's son. And he does a lot of the line drawings that begin the process of the illustrations. So they collaborated together, and actually they collaborated on the first one too, but his name didn't get on the credits. So John has been central to this project, and their collaboration has been a really valuable and important part of this project. And this story also, if you look at the dedication page, this one's dedicated to Jane Rainey Opel, who is my mother. And it's dedicated to Jane and the power of mother-son collaboration, because my mom was a big supporter of this project and was a real sounding board as we were working through the stories and talking about different elements and giving Carol and John feedback on sketches. So I got to work with my mom in developing these stories, and Carol got to work with her son. And so that's been a nice mother-son collaboration on both of our parts. Also, in terms of the environmental group that's highlighted here on the title page, this is the Loon Preservation Committee that we decided to highlight in this book because of the beautiful artwork and the role that the loon plays in this story. And just another reminder of how important it is to support the environmental organizations that are helping to preserve the lake and keep it in the pristine quality that we all love and appreciate. And loons have really come back, because when I was growing up on the lake, I was born in the mid 60s and spent a lot of memorable years in the 70s. And there were very few loons, and rarely did you hear a loon call. So they've really come back, and that's a really great thing. And it's a sign of the quality of the ecosystem, and a lot of good public policy too that has helped to bring the loons back. A couple of other nice things. I really like the way Carol did this. The illustration here with the cutaway of the room, and you'll notice that this room comes back in other stories. So be sure and look for that continuity, because that's really been one of the great things about working with Carol on these books, is the continuity of the characters and the places that they interact with throughout the books. And you'll see in books that follow this one that the sailboat comes back because JJ gets the sailboat in this one. The other great thing about this is Carol's incredible fidelity to the way things actually look. If you've been fortunate enough to ever approach the Weirs in a boat, this is really very much how it looks. And she really captures the look and feel of boating on the lake. And that's been one of the real treasures of these books, is what an amazing job she's done in giving us these images that are so iconic. This image is exactly how the Sophie Sea looks as it's approaching Jolly Island, and that's exactly the dock on Jolly Island, and the little house that people are able to gather at as the mailboat approaches. And similarly here in this small channel, if you've been fortunate enough to explore this narrow channel, and you check your maps and make sure you're on the right side of the buoys. You can go at idle speed through this channel, and there's often wildlife because it's a very protected area. And often every year you'll see buoys that the Loon Preservation Committee puts out that alert you if there are nesting loons in the area, and really try and caution you against disturbing them. So if you do see them, it's best to do as they do in the book. Just completely turn your engine off and just drift by. And let give the loons the right of way. This is classic. So this is, these books are littered with little family references, and my mom used to love to say that we can fly when she was going in the boat. That's one of the great memories of Jane's enthusiasm, and she she got her first boat in the early 1950s as a young woman. And it was a Chris Craft that she bought from Jimmy Irwin at Irwin Marine in the early 1950s. And for a young single woman at that point to own her own boat was a bit remarkable. And she was a confident boat driver and loved it. And it was unfortunate because shortly after she bought that boat, it sank at the dock during the hurricane. And it was we have old pictures in a family picture album of the boat then being towed away, all sunk. And then the Irwins though honored the insurance and she was able to replace the boat the following year. But Jane loved boating. She loved to go fast, and she loved the enthusiasm. Always had an enthusiasm for being out on the water and sharing her enthusiasm with we can fly. More of Carol's fidelity to the place. Like this is exactly how the full moon arcades look. And this machine has actually been there. It's from the early 1900s and has been at the Weirs for close to 100 years. It still is functioning. They still, as of 2019, this past summer, and I imagine it will still be there in 2020. It's still working and still giving fortunes with these very old time cards that they've managed to continue to print. So it's quite a historic piece that you don't see very often these days, and it's showing its wear, but that also makes it particularly spooky, I think, and it always captured my imagination. So that was part of the reason I wanted to include it in this story. I also wanted to highlight this picture. This is, I think this is such an incredible image that Carol has captured here, because if you've been lucky enough to boat on the water at night, this is really how it looks. It's such a great experience to be out on the water at night and to approach the Weirs with all the lights and activity. I can remember as a kid, it always felt so exciting to see all that and to be able to pull up to the docks at night and walk up and maybe get a little ice cream or play some of the games. Very, very strong memories of that and the place of the Weirs from the water at night. And this, I think that she did such a fantastic job of capturing that. And I think the concluding image here is also fantastic. And I think of following that silvery path. If you get a calm night at the lake and it's a full moon or a waxing moon, and you get that bright shining path, that's one of the. It's just an iconic Winnipesaukee experience to be out on the water at night and have that silvery path and the calm water, calm dark water, and it's one of those very special feelings of if you've been lucky enough to get to do that. I think Carol did a great job, and many of us, and still my kids still fall asleep in the boat at night when we come back from different outings. So. It's very common, and again, Carol did a great job of capturing the look and feel. So thank you so much for supporting the Winnipesaukee Adventure series, and we will look forward to seeing you soon at the lake.